Hey guys, it's Lauren. If you need help with any writing tips or you're feeling your creative well, you come to the right place, as I'm a blind author of both Ignited Melodies, a collection of poems, and book 1 of the Hunted series, co-written with Nicole the Blind Mage. In today's video, I wanted to share the story I wrote for writer Sam Wicker's character randomizer. These are live streams that she has the last Sunday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I'm looking forward to joining her and Nicole the Blind Mage for the upcoming one. So the character I ended up rolling dice for, I decided to name Varian, inspired from the Tangled animated series, because he's good at brewing potions and drawing, but kind of does not like running the potion shop with his grandfather. He kind of just wants to be creative and do things in his own time.
I'm just laughing because not to be shot stand for long. Not till I got told of it.
No, we talked about this. People live there.
Yeah, a little fire won't hurt anyone. Grandpa! As the sun rose, brilliant light flooded the small flat. The room was decorated with floral paintings. The walls were covered with shelves crammed with lettered books, glass bottles, and metal tins containing dry herbs. A tutu cloth chirped as a muffled groan emitted from the prone form sprawled on the cot. A young man reached for a pillow, covering his scruffy face with it, trying to drown out the loud strilled alarm. The wooden floorboards creaked from the approaching footsteps. A blast of chilly air caressed his skin from the open window as the feather quilt was tugged free from his tangled limbs. Varian, I can't run the shop all by myself. How do you expect to get anything done from your bed? An old man warned, keeping the blanket clutched in his child's hands, tapping his foot impatiently. Fine, I'm getting up, Varian grumbled, tossing the pillow at the old man as he stumbled to his feet. He could have done it by himself. Grumpy old fart, he mumbled under his breath. He rolled his eyes, hearing his bedroom door slam shut as his grandfather disappeared downstairs. He shot one longing look at his bed, running a hand through his messy red curls. He splashed water on his face and quickly changed into his uniform, a brown button-down tunic complementing his brown eyes, black slats, and a purple smock with pats and roll. It was a bubbling cauldron with the words "Spellbinding Emporium" in glitter. He heard his grandfather ring up a customer as he made his way to the back of the shop, making himself a cup of tea, inhaling the aromatic scent of hazelnut. The bell chimed above the door as a man in a black hooded cloak entered. Varian did my hand unloading the shipment, his grandfather demanded, gesturing for Jared to head towards the back of the shop. With a heavy sigh, he set his mud aside and waited for the man to set down a metal crate on the back table. Inside were several glass bottles filled with liquid and various hues of reds and blues. What is this stuff? Grandpa never did say where he got his supplies. He thought, helping the stranger unload a crate. He thanked Varian, placed an envelope on the table before exiting the shop. Before he could open it, his grandfather had snuck up behind him, snatched an envelope from his hands, and disappeared once more behind the register. Don't be nosy, boy. Place those vials away, and I'll let you go on your break early, he yelled, surprising Varian. Wanting to flee the cramped shop, he did as he was instructed, placing the vials in an iron lace container. He slipped a blue vial in his pocket. I'm all finished, Grandpa. I'm heading to
Helen Jack's.
Radio house for a bite to eat. I'll be back in an hour, he said, removing his smock, placing it on a hook, and leaving the shop. It was quiet and I don't know, how do you say this?
Resnick?
Radio. During the early hour, the bar was void of patrons, as it was usually crowded at dusk when his shift ended for the day. He waved to Gerald and he sat in one of the booths across from the short man. Good morning, Gerald. Don't you ever go home? Varian teased as the barmaid sat a pitcher of water and glasses full of ice at her table. The little man shrugged, filling his glass with water. I earned my keep looking after this place, he grumbled in a thick Irish accent. Varian nodded, filling his glass as a flyer caught his eye. What's this? He mused as Gerald followed his gaze. Received word about it last month. It should be fun, but it's not what we're here to discuss, he answered, taking a sip of his drink, water trickling down his beard. Varian nodded, glancing around them nervously before leaning forward. He reached into his pocket, placing a blue vial in Gerald's hands. What's this? We agreed to 3 gold coins for information, he sneered, eyeing the shimmering blue liquid suspiciously. Yeah, I said the word. I know, you said you would give me a lead on finding my brother. This vial holds magic, worth more than any coins I can offer, Varian whispered, watching Gerald hold the vial up to the light. Gerald uncorked the vial, adding a few drops to his glass of water. The liquid fizzled with the essence. He inhaled the sweet aroma before taking a sip. His green eyes dilated as a blissful sigh escaped his lips. You're looking for a fiery broad?
Fiery broad.
Thank you. Named Nina Taldor, he said, pocketing the vial and took another sip. Varian arched an eyebrow, recognizing the name. The mayor's niece, he stated, as Gerard nodded, amused by his disbelief. Stop by after dusk, and she may be here. She ran up quite the tab 3 nights ago, Gerard added, swearing as he reached for the water pitcher, knocking it over with a gust of wind. Varian climbed to his feet to get napkins to clean up the mess, amused by the burst of magic. He had seen it quite often when his grandfather had brewed too strong of a luster. Amorian is as old as my grandfather, so there's no way this girl could know what happened, but it could be a lead. He thought, amused to see that when he turned to the table, Gerard was gone. Helping the barmaid wipe out the water, he headed to the bar and ordered another glass of iced tea, an egg and cheese sandwich, before returning to the shop. The shop was quiet, making the hours sluggishly tick by. He was in the back, filing receipts, when he heard an angry strain of profanities erupt from his grandfather's lips in French. Varian Nathaniel Delart, come here this instant. His grandfather bellowed, causing the hair on the back of his neck to stand up. Now what did I do? Did he suspect I stole from the shop? He thought. Entering the front of the shop, he blinked, surprised to see that the curtains to the windows had been drawn, and a sign on the door said closed. Grandpa, are we closing the shop early today? He asked, leaning against the doorframe. I need you to be honest with me, Varian. When the shipment was delivered this morning, were there 13 vials in the case? He stated, approaching Varian and resting a wrinkled hand on his arm. Varian shrugged, taking a step back, shutting his grandfather's hand away. Direct touch had the desired effect of drawing out the truth. You're not in trouble. You weren't careful and storing them, and one fell, he pleaded, arching an eyebrow at Varian's deflected reaction. If I had, you would have smelled the residue matter on the floor, Varian replied, stuffing his hands in his pockets. The merchant could have slipped one in his pockets. We dealt with thieves before, he added, seeing his grandfather nod in agreement. I was afraid of that. This elixir is made of rare ingredients and will need to interrogate this further. He mused, dismissing Varian with a wave of his hand, running upstairs to his room. Varian's shoulders slumped as he heaved a sigh of relief. Hanging his mouth up once more, he paused and glanced towards the display where the blue vials were kept, slipping another in his pocket and slipping out of the shop. He had spent the next few hours sitting in the park with a sketchbook in his hand. He was drawing caricatures of those passing by. Should I return to the bar, he thought, glancing up at the sky, seeing that the sky was starting to darken as dusk was approaching. What am I going to even say to this girl? Hey, are you responsible for Xander's disappearance? He thought, drawing a sketch of a taller boy with short, spiky blonde hair. He resembled Varian, but was taller with a slender build. Xander always did fashion himself to be a rock star. he mused, having a blue mohawk and a guitar strapped to leather. A guitar strapped to a leather jacket. He closed his eyes, closing his death book as a single tear tracked down his cheek. He was my only friend in this strange town. I need to find out what happened to him. He recollected, placing the death book in his bag and climbing to his feet. He left the park, heading towards the bar, determined to find answers. Varian was startled to see Gennard at the entrance. A crowd drew around him. He was training miniature creatures of ice in his hands before throwing them into the air as they turned into snowflakes. He pushed his way through the crowd as Gerard met his bewildered expression. "Varian, you came," Gerard explained, resting a hand on his shoulder. "Our crowd is impressed with my demonstrations. It's all thanks to spellbinding Ephraim." Gerard gasped as the crowds erupted into applause. Varian offered him a tight smile and tried to grab his arm to lead him into the bar. "What are you doing?" Varian hissed as the crowd begged for more. "The one I spoke of hasn't shown up yet, so I figured the large crowd may draw her attention. Every time she's here, she's a bit of a showboat," he offered, pulling his arm free, creating a bonnet of flowers before he hurled it into the sky as it turned into confetti. "My grandpa isn't selling the lecture I gave you. If people learn of how you attained this gift, I'm in deep trouble," Varian whispered, reaching once more for his arm. Gennard ignored him, cupping both hands together, creating a dragon with the ice, before it turned to mist. The crowd booed as it had been struck by a fireball. Nina stepped through the crowd, summoning another orb in her hands. "What an interesting display. I didn't know dwarves could use magic," she observed, arching an eyebrow. "We can if we consume it, but it doesn't last long. Care for a drink on the house," he offered, beckoning her inside the bar. Nina nodded, slipping her arm in his as the crowd dispersed, noticing the young male that followed. "Who's your new friend?" she inquired, following them to the second story. Gerald pulled a chair out for Nina before addressing Varian to join her. "An acquaintance, let me get your drink while you get acquainted," he offered, waving to the barmaid to bring them 3 glasses of honey mead. Large for your turn. Nina turned to study Varian, drumming her manicured fingers on the bar. "Having met before, you look familiar," she mused, and a glass of water was placed in front of her. Varian shook his head, reaching for a glass of water to take a sip. "You might have met my grandfather, Dimitri Dillard. He runs spellbinding Ephraim. I'm Varian, by the way," he answered, wiping his sweaty hand on his pants leg before extending it to her. Nina stroked it, offering him a flirty smile. No, that's not it. But it's nice to meet you. Any friend is a friend of mine. Anita told her, by the way. She replied, shaking his hand as the drinks arrived. Gerald arrived, placing the drinks in front of them. I would like to stay and chat, but I believe a debt was settled by this meeting. He explained, winking at Varian before leaving. Varian's mouth hung open, realizing what Gerald had let slip. I know why I look familiar to you, he whispered, as Nina blinked, staring at him baffled. The other meet a young man named Xander Delart, he pleaded, reaching for a photograph in his wallet. Nina took a sip of her drink before taking the photograph. That liar swore he was an only child. He said his family was dead, she thought, giving him back the photo, thinking of the story she shared with Delilah. She flashed him a fake smile and finished her drink. I'm sorry for whatever lies Gerard sold you, she said, climbing to her feet. Wait, Varian protests, stumbling to his feet, and removed the gloves he had been wearing. His fingers dug into her forearm as he gripped her arm tightly. He said you could tell me what happened to my brother. I just want to know the truth, he pleaded, a tear rolling down his cheek. Nina swore, feeling liquid fire shoot up her arm. He witnessed his father's murder and sought my time for revenge. He sold his soul for power and fell for a siren. I haven't heard from him in over 10 years, she spat, her words tumbling from her lips before tearing her arm free and fled from the bar. Varian stared down at his hand, hearing his flesh sizzle as the fire had burned his hand. He wrapped the ice from his glass at a napkin and pressed it to the burns. He finished his glass and headed back to the shop. Yay!
So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, Nicole, for reading it.
No problem.
I like where his character is going in the piece that you read, that you wrote. That will be in the description down below. It's so cute. I went on a date.
You know, I'm getting crowd. You're like, you're a light character. But she has a sneaker on now. She's still light.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Nate's at her bidding, not her. Well, I'm not the only one that said it in the comments. That one day Nicole's gonna be like, have a collection like all the time. But for adults. If you guys like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon for future videos. I do live streams on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and me and Nicole do the Poet's Corner podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. As always, find a way to be creative today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.